What's up everyone, Saintsfan back again, and today we're going to be doing a little discussion video right before the gun running DLC comes out. And the reason I want to do this discussion video is because over the last week, I've been seeing a ton of back and forth on this conversation, on this topic. So what the topic is, do the helicopters in the game need to be buffed because they're so weak and because we're going to be getting a ton of anti-air weapons in the gun running DLC? Are those weapons going to completely overtake, are they going to completely ruin the sky, basically, is what the answer, or what the question is. And I want to touch on that a little bit. And at the end, if you have your own thoughts that you want to let me and everyone else know in the comment section, please do. But let's talk about jets first. I know I'm mainly going to be talking about helicopters, but jets are also in the air, so let's talk about them. Jets, at the moment, I feel like are pretty good. I mean, the Hydra obviously is not, I don't want to say it's overpowered, but it's just really, really good, especially if you have a good pilot. It's really good at causing grief for other players, or to other players. And because of that, a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people, that's why they go into solo public lobbies to sell cars and to sell crates, because they don't want to have to deal with a person in a Hydra. Now, I feel like the Hydra doesn't need to be touched. Like, some people were saying maybe the Hydra, maybe these jets need to get flares or something so the lock-on missiles don't take them out. But look, the Hydra's been ruling the skies for 2 years now, so it's had its time, all right? And it's about time that finally we have some ways to get back at it that's not just a homing launcher, you know what I mean? So I feel like Hydra needs to be left alone. If they buff it, or if they change anything to it, add something, somehow if they add flares, which I don't believe they ever will add flares, then that's going to completely defeat the purpose of the anti-air weapons. And one thing I will say about the anti-air weapons, now we don't know because the DLC is not out, but just going on what they did with the Ruiner 2000 and how they limited it to only 8 rockets, I feel like the same thing is going to happen with these anti-air weapons, especially the ones that have rockets and not, it's just a 50 cal machine gun. The ones with the rockets, I feel like since they only have 6 pods, you'll be limited to 6 rockets. And I feel like that's a fair trade-off because you only need 1 rocket to take down a jet or to take down a helicopter. So having 6 gives you enough to take them down. And maybe they might limit the lock-on distance, so if you're in a jet or if you're in a fast helicopter, you can dodge behind a building or just fly away quick enough before they lock on and shoot you down. But I feel like Rockstar have thought about that, and that's why I believe the anti-air weapons won't be as overpowered as maybe some people believe. The 50 cal ones, though, that they might be the ones that are more dangerous, just because I feel like there's no way to really limit those. I mean, you can always put the 999 limit on it, like the minigun, but I feel like what's just going to end up happening is the 50 cal machine gun ones will just be unlimited. And honestly, I feel like what they're going to do with those is basically just make them like the buzzard bullets. The buzzard bullets aren't too powerful, they're not explosive, but they are, decent against other aircraft, so that's what I think is going to end up happening for the 50 cal bullets. Now maybe there might be some upgrades along the way so you can make those more powerful or make them explosive, or maybe lock on quicker, maybe have better rockets to shoot it down. But I feel like there's going to be a decent balance with the anti-air weapons. Now, talking about some of the other planes and jets, not including the Hydra or even the laser, because those two can do damage and can kill people, I wouldn't mind those either having flares or maybe even not being able to be locked on at all, because what's the worst someone can do in those planes and in those jets? They can kamikaze you, but they could do that if they were in passive mode regardless, because they could just jump out at the end. So I don't think those should be locked on. I don't think the anti-air weapons should be able to lock on to the passive jets and planes. And I really hope they do that, because if not, then they're pointless. Then it's just going to become, oh, this guy's in a Titan, I'm going to shoot him down regardless because this is the only plane in the sky. And what is a guy in a Titan going to do? He can't outrun a jet, or he can't outrun a rocket, or he can't, quickly get behind a building to get away from the rocket. That's just not going to happen. He's going to die, and he's going to be like, okay, well, I guess I'm never flying a plane again. So I really hope they do something with that. I really hope they don't just leave it like it is. Now, getting to the meat and potatoes of this video, the helicopters. This is the main part. Many people wanted the Hunter in this update because the helicopters we have at the moment are so bad. I mean, in terms of damage and armor and all that. The Buzzard, in terms of practicality, is amazing. But apart from that, all the other helicopters aren't that good. The Valkyrie's not bad, but you do need more than one person to actually use it. And even it still only takes one rocket to blow up. The only helicopter in the entire game that actually takes 2 rockets to blow up is the Cargo Bob. And I'm not entirely sure when they buffed the Cargo Bob, because I don't believe it always used to have that capability. But at one point, they did buff the Cargo Bob. Maybe it was when they actually officially added it into online. But that's what needs to happen with all the other helicopters in the game. This Savage especially. This Savage, they marketed as like a freaking tank, right? There's like a Russian something tank, but a tank in the sky. But no, it's not even close. There was a point in time when it came out, for the longest actually, they didn't patch it for the longest, where you could take a revolver and shoot the Savage 6 times. I don't even think it mattered where you shot it, as long as you just made contact with it. And on the 6th shot, it would catch fire and it would blow up. Like, that's unacceptable for a helicopter that markets itself as a tank in the sky. That shouldn't happen. Now, because of that, because of the outrage, finally, they eventually buffed it a little bit, but it's still not that good at all. It maybe takes like 7 or 8 bullets, 7 or 8 revolver bullets instead of 6 to blow up. So what I think needs to happen is they need to take the Cargo Bob damage or health and then put that to the Savage. If they just made that, if they made every single helicopter in the game be able to take at least 1 rocket, a lot more people would be happy, because then helicopters would actually have a different purpose than jets, because none of the jets can take, well, I guess they can take more than 1 rocket sometimes. Like, sometimes they'll just start smoking if you get hit with a rocket, I believe. But the helicopters, apart from the Cargo Bob, don't do that. And what I've seen a lot of people who do fly helicopters a lot say is, I would much rather have the helicopter just, you know, if it gets hit once, fine, let it just die. Don't have it explode and kill me, because what people see is, oh, that guy's in a helicopter, that's a free kill for me, because he's you know, unless he bails as soon as I hit the rocket, as soon as he hears the little beeping, I'm going to get a kill, because there's nothing he can do about it. He can't really swerve out the way, he can't really dodge it, and it's going to be an instant explosion. So that's what I think they need to do with the helicopters. So answering the question, you know, do helicopters need to be buffed with all the anti-air weapons coming out? I think they do. And if they don't, they're making a huge mistake, because the one thing that I think we can all agree on, whether you like it or not, people like being in the air. Some people like being in a helicopter, some people like being in a jet. And, you know, unfortunately, the way it works, if you make one more overpowered than the other, then one side is going to get mad and then the other side is just going to grief. Where if you make them both equally as good, you're going to have a lot less griefing and a lot more, you know, fair gunfights or fair fights in online. So that's why I think, especially with all this anti-air stuff, they need to totally buff the helicopters. And it shouldn't be that hard. I mean, you can get a mod menu on the PC, and all you have to do is go to the mod menu, go to like the vehicle setting page, and then bump the health up. That's all Rockstar needs to do. You know, let's just say the base is at 100, make it 200, make it 250. You know, for some of the more expensive ones, like the Hind, or like not the Hind, but the like the Savage and the Valkyrie, and maybe even if you want to stick with the Cargo Bob, make those like 250, assuming, you know, it's at 100 base. And then you have the Buzzard. Maybe the Buzzard's like 150. So if it gets shot, it doesn't blow up, but it does get disabled, and you have to bail, or you're gonna die. And, you know, all the other ones, well, actually, the ones that don't have rockets or don't have cannons on it, those, like I mentioned with the passive jets and planes, shouldn't even be able to be locked on too. Because, again, what's the worst someone can do? They can kamikaze you, but they could do that in passive mode. And if they're in passive mode, you can't lock on to them regardless. So I really hope Rockstar nails the balance down, and, you know, if they do, then this could potentially make online a lot more fun. You know, even though they're adding a bunch of crazy vehicles and a bunch of crazy new weaponry, if they tweak it right, if they balance it right, then free roam will be a lot better, I think. Just because everything will be balanced, everything will be fair, there's not going to be anything overpowered, and because of that, a lot more people will be happy. So that's my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. That is the discussion on the topic of helicopters, and I guess even planes and jets being buffed, or just fixing some stuff with the way the system works. Thank you all for watching, though. Please drop the video a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe for more awesome GTA content, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one.